First, we had Dan Dunleavy off the start. He's still here. Then we had Darren Dreger, Elliot Friedman, and now on the line, joining the Instigators on WGR 550, Mr. Yukon Gold himself, Dylan Cozens. What's going on, Dylan? Welcome back to the Instigators.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate the time. Are you in the Yukon?
Yes, I'm in the Yukon right now.
So what are you doing up there with no heat, light, or power?
I've been getting out fishing a couple times. Spending lots of time on the backyard rink, in the gym, just, getting as ready as I can for, whenever the season's up again.
Did you just say the backyard rink?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Now, do you still obviously still have snow up there?
Yeah, it just snowed again last night.
How cold is it up there? Like, you have ice on the rink, everything?
Yeah, it's like -1 Celsius right now, but it's warming up and the rink's starting to melt a bit, so it's not going to be around much longer.
The only player in the league that is in quarantine but still playing and training on the ice. I love it.
Well,
it's definitely lucky.
It's 3 degrees there right now.
3 degrees.
And yeah, 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's -16 Celsius up in the Yukon right now. Like, that's no joke. Like, you're still right in the thick of winter.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot warmer the last couple of days. That's kind of new for it to be that cold. It's still 8 in the morning, so it's cold.
Oh yeah, so that's what you got. You got crawling out of bed voice there. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Were we your wake-up call today?
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, let's talk some hockey with you. You're a kid we talked a lot about this year, Dylan. Obviously, from training camp to the World Juniors to the season you've been having. I mean, obviously, all things considered, with this virus going around, how have you felt about your season up until the point where things were shut down for you?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with my season. Just from start to finish, I think I produced consistently, and I learned a lot. I took a bigger leadership role, and I learned how to be a captain, and obviously the experience at World Juniors was as good as it gets. To leave that with a gold medal is something I'll remember forever. And then, obviously we were getting really excited for playoffs there, and then it was disappointing for that to come to an end. But I think we were still really happy what we did as a team that year and how we came together as a group and did what we did. So I think the season went really well.
What was your main objective going into this year? I mean, was it when you got drafted where you did and you go back to junior and think, I want to go back, have one really, really good year and try to put myself in a position to be ready for the NHL?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely, a lot of preparing myself for next year to try and make that jump. But, at the same time, we had a strong group and, our big focus was on winning. We wanted to, go win a championship. But, at the same time, I was still, pretending every day like I was training for next training camp and, trying to get myself ready to make that jump, when next season hits.
What do you think that, what were the things that you tried to improve in your game to be able to make the jump to the NHL?
Well, I think, I just tried to improve my quickness a lot. I think my skating is such a big part of my game. And, if I can get it better, get quicker, more explosive, it's just going to give me even more of an advantage. So, the biggest thing I was working on was my explosiveness.
Instigators joined right now with Dylan Cozens on the line here all the way from the Yukon. And I guess, the question I want to ask you next is about World Juniors. I mean, that experience for you, where do you take that and put it in? Not so much in your experiences in terms of winning and where do you rank it, but just where do you take that experience to help you go forward with your career?
Yeah, for sure. Just getting to play with with all those players there, you know, the best junior players in Canada, you could learn a lot from them too. It was just being on the ice with those guys and playing with them was something that, I took in, and, I used what I could and took what I could from them to learn. And, obviously a guy like Barrett Hayton, he was playing in the NHL this year, he could learn a lot from him. So, I think the biggest thing was just learning from those guys too, and seeing how a group like that can come together and win, if guys just put their best foot forward and do whatever it takes to win.
What are you? Are you? We know you can play both center and wing, but are you more a centerman than a winger? Are you? What's your stance on your position? Are you a natural centerman?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a natural centerman, but I can play the wing too. So it's just whatever works better.
Riff?
Awesome.
Anything?
Well, I just wanted to kind of know, getting away from, the ice rink, how have you spent your time trying to, stay in shape, working out at home? Are you doing anything specific right now training-wise?
Yeah, actually my trainer's opened up the gym for just me to go in there and work out one-on-one with him. So I've been doing good workouts every single day. So that's definitely another big advantage I've got right now. And other than that, just, getting out fishing as much as we can, and that's pretty much it. Not much else really I can do.
Pays to be the only first rounder to ever come out of the Yukon, eh?
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Any specific?
You know what?
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to say, Dylan, it's Dan Dunleavy, and I mean the last time we would have even had 2 seconds to talk would have been back in, prospects camp, and obviously you've come a long way since. And I can even hear it in your voice how much you've grown up and grown probably more into the young man you want to be and the NHL player that you want to be sooner rather than later. But when you look back to those days, obviously you're thinking, all right, I'm ready. Let's get to the National Hockey League, even understanding there's still growth to be had in your game. You go through the season you had, you go through the World Junior Tournament that PD was talking to you about. You talk about all these different kind of pieces to the puzzle that have been added to who you are. How do you assess the whole experience, in its entirety of prospects camp? You're going back to junior, you're playing for your country, and all these great things are happening while at the end of the road is still the main goal of getting to the National Hockey League. What have you kind of soaked in? What have you learned? It's kind of cliche to say what you've learned about yourself, but have you noticed your own growth when you kind of sit back and think about, what, now I am closer to ready, even if I thought I was ready, 9 months ago?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just thinking back to myself where I was at this point last year, I definitely think I've matured a lot and, become more of a man just as it comes with age. And, I'm starting to grow into my body more, get stronger, put on more weight. So, I definitely think throughout the whole year, it's been a big learning experience, just learning everything at camp and then going to World Juniors, learning how to be a leader, in Lethbridge. And, it's just been learning and getting myself ready to make that jump. And, I definitely feel, as most people would, more confident going into camp this year at my chances. But, it's still not going to be easy. I know that, and I'll have to have a big summer here if I want to be ready for that.
Well, let me ask you this. Going into your season, did you set any statistical goals for yourself? I mean, in terms of points, goals, assists. I mean, obviously, I know you were talking about winning a Memorial Cup and preparing yourself, to give yourself the best chance going into next season to make the Sabres. But did you set any goals? Like, did you want to hit 100 points? Did you want to hit 40 or 50 goals? I mean, looking at your numbers, you're on pace for all of that.
Yeah, I didn't really set statistical goals, but obviously I was looking at 40 goals there at the end. I wanted to catch that. Obviously, with the way the season ended, it wasn't going to happen. But I just wanted to go out there and be consistent. Give my team a chance to win every single night. Just go out there and just lead by example and just work as hard as I can every night and make everyone else play up to my level. So there wasn't really any statistical goals, just to be as consistent as I could from start to finish.
How do you handle the school and the travel in the dub? I mean, knowing all the WHL players that I've played with, all they talk about are just ridiculously long bus trips and, school's tough to get done. I mean, how do you handle and balance that load?
Yeah, so I finished school last year, so I didn't have it this year, which was nice. But, when I came in at 16, the trips are long. You're on the road for 2 weeks at some times, and you're trying to get schoolwork done, play games at the same time. It's definitely tough. And then during my draft year, I took one class at the start of the year, and I was done school in January. So, I had the back half to just relax and not worry about school. But the trips are long and hard. But it just helps get your body ready for the next level.
What is your longest trip?
Our longest probably would be to like Portland, and I'd say that's like 16 hours.
Would you do that for one game?
No, we'd go up there and play 3 games.
And you play a couple on the way back or whatever, or you just up there 3 games and then back?
Yeah, up there 3 games and back. And we're right in the middle of everyone, too. So, like, there's teams that have it way worse than us.
Yeah,
Are there teams that fly in your league?
No flying until the finals.
So what would be the worst team for travel? It had to be Brandon.
Well, it was Brandon, and then I'd say probably Winnipeg this year, or Prince George even. Prince George's closest game is 6 hours. But, yeah, Winnipeg's about 12 hours east from us. So wherever we got, like, Vancouver for them is probably like 22 hours.
What's the card game? Are you a big euchre player? I mean, I feel like all the guys in the WHL are all euchre players.
I'm not familiar with that game. No, we played a lot of Kaiser.
No. Euchre is for Ontario.
Well,
Hearts.
Hearts not for Ontario.
He played a lot of Hearts out west.
What was that? Sorry.
Have you ever heard the game Hearts?
Hearts. Yeah, I've heard that, but no, I don't play that.
You're not a card guy. Eh? Okay. Well, actually, Riv, I live with a guy that played for Lethbridge. His name was Luke Thierret. Big euchre player. So I just assumed, but then again, he's also Thierret. He's French, so maybe it's a French thing. I don't know. But anyway, Dylan, enjoy your conversation with Rob Ray today.
Thank you.
We hear you're going to be chatting with the Razor. What do you know about Razor?
Not too much right now, but
don't tell him that.
No, please tell him that.
Dan works with Rob very, very closely. So if there's anything you need, Dan, what should we prepare him for?
Just say, Rob. Hey, Rob, before we get into this interview, what do you do? Just ask him, what do you do anyway? What's your job?
Dylan.
Hey, it's an honest question, right?
Hey.
Why not?
That's exactly how you should start with him, Dylan. Dylan Cozens, kind enough to join us. Enjoy the rest of your, I guess we'll call it off season. And hopefully we'll see you back here sooner than later with training camp whenever that happens. So good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.